Weekly, GarageBand, GarageBand Weekly, GarageBand Weekly. Need an answer to your question? John, he'll have a suggestion. He's a fountain of all knowledge. I think he might have gone to GarageBand College. What he doesn't know, we'll try and find out. So join the chats and give him a shout. Pete Johns, Pete Johns, GarageBand Weekly.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome into GarageBand Weekly for yet another week here on Studio Live today, episode 299, if you can believe it. Yeah, that's a lot of episodes. On the show this week, we'll be looking at the brand new GarageBand 2.3.18 update, the brand new iPadOS 26.1 update, and letting you know, is it finally time to update? Spoiler alert, maybe. Yeah, depends. There's never a definitive answer in the world of tech, is there? Because it's horses for courses. I know, for an industry that's all zeros and ones, ons and offs, yeses and nos, blacks and whites, you would think that things like this would be easier. But no, because of the complexity of the different gear you might have, the different apps you might use, the different plugins, the different bits of stuff that you plug into your things, yeah, you need to really carefully consider whether it is time to update or not. So I know many of you are still sitting on iPadOS and iOS 18, and that is 100% fine. It is still getting security updates. You're still cool, right? But if you are on 26, do update to 26.1 because there are some security patches and other things that you need to do to ensure that. So there you go. If you just came here to find out, should I update or not? Sort of, maybe, a bit. All right. If you do have questions, I've seen a question already popped into the chat there. Excuse me. If you do have questions, go ahead and put a Q in front of them. I will tag them and we'll answer them as we go through, as CGW has just done now. News and notes. Should we dive in? We'll say good day to the folks who are here live in just a jiffy, but I wanted to start with a very important news item that I didn't even realize was a thing. But I was doing Your Music Live yesterday, and someone, and I forget who it was, and I apologize, was in the chat, and they're like, hey, Johns, did you know that it's been exactly 10 years since you registered Studio Live Today, the YouTube channel? And I said, I absolutely did not know that. And I went and looked, and yep, there it was, the 10th of November, 2015. So if you can believe it, 9th of November, yes, 9th of November, 2015. If you can believe it, it's been 10 years that this channel's been registered. And I mentioned it briefly yesterday, but the idea of Studio Live Today was really, it's one of those things where you name it, and then like it'd be like Tech Moan or Lazy Game Reviews. It's like you name it, and then the channel evolves into something different. If I could do it all again, what would I call this channel? Mobile recording tutorials. I mean, it's a little bit less catchy though, isn't it? Right, yeah. So I just went Studio Live Today because it's 3 words. There's really only one way to spell it. The domain name was available, and it kind of said what I wanted to do, because I wanted to eventually do daily videos, which we now do here on the channel and have done for the last few years. And ideally, I wanted it to be live. Back in those days, couldn't really do live. 2015 was a different beast. The internet was not as stable, and look, it's not perfectly stable now, but the internet was not as stable as it is now. Live streaming, especially here in Australia, was really not that possible because our upload speeds of our broadband were absolute garbage. And now they're just barely acceptable. So we don't have any of the synchronous up and down where, you know, you're getting gigabit uploads, but we have enough to push a 1080p stream out there. So yeah, nearly 300 episodes of GarageBand Weekly and 10 years of Studio Live Today. And look, I'm not much of a milestone-y, celebrity type person. I think I look around and I see people on YouTube like celebrate. I've just hit 3,250 subscribers, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Is that really something that everyone else should be celebrating with you? Like the big ones, sure. 100,000 subscribers was great. And I was lucky enough to do that on Thomas Christ's channel. And 10 years, yeah, that's pretty cool as well. So, yeah, the big ones, I'll be there to celebrate. And as my wife tells me, I said, I don't like milestones, grrr, yell at cloud. And she's like, it's not for you, dickhead. It's for your community who support you, right? Yes. 3-way celebration. Let's say good day to the folks who are here live, and then we'll dive in to the show. Thank you, Fat Panda Cat. I hope you are doing well. You're a bit before. There you go. So Thomas Christ has been on the YouTube. And look, my other channels have been on YouTube a lot longer. Studio Live Today is my most recent channel, I guess. Hello, CGW. Hello to Jamie Lynn, who I said hello to. Hello to Fat Panda Cat. Hello to Dave Bops. Bop. Hello to Eric B. G'day to you. And look, it's clearly not a competition. I'm not like, oh, if you don't have as many years. No, if you started your channel yesterday, hey, you're doing it. G'day, Mark Bro. G'day, Les Corox. Hello, Joe and Barry Glenn. Yeah, look, there's also that thing where it's like, you're in the forums and people are like, oh, I've got 27 years of experience. So it's like, guess what? It's a bit like golf. If you've got 27 years of swinging your club the wrong way, you just got 27 years of reinforcing bad habits. So not saying that longevity does not equal quality, but still, you got to celebrate the little milestones, don't you? In life and in YouTube. Hello, Ed Z. G'day, Al Davis Music. Hello to Hugh Caldwell. I hope you are all doing swimmingly today. So yeah, I wanted to say that, and I wanted to put this out there as well. It's going to be a bit of a thank you kind of show here today because I'm feeling grateful. I stopped and checked in on myself, and I realized that I needed to have some gratitude. Because if you read the news, and I highly recommend you don't, but if you follow the news and if you read all of the doom and gloom that is put out there every day, you'll think that things are terrible. And it was actually Tremor Bear sent me a video yesterday, and I watched it. And look, it's about how the big tech companies are laying off lots of high quality people, and the job market now for people that are in the tech world, which is me and which is a lot of us, is tough. Because very smart people are being laid off because companies are making their products worse, making their services worse, reducing the amount of people that are serving you. Have you tried to get tech support lately through someone like YouTube? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They don't have enough real human people. I had an issue with Uber the other day, and it took me about 20 minutes to navigate through their tree of bots and automatic FAQs before a human finally just went, oh, yeah, sorry, Johns, here's your credit. And it was so simple and so easy, but they put all these barriers. It's the enshittification. So that's bad, right? But I waded through that, and then I'm looking around at some of the changes that we're seeing. And at the risk of being a crazy optimist, I think that independent media, independent creators, independent contractors doing jobs is the future. And I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've been out of the corporate world and I've been doing this independently. And the only reason I can do this is you. So when I I just did my taxes, and when I do my taxes each year and I see, okay, here's the revenue, here's the expenses, here's what more and more, it's you. It's less sponsorships, it's less YouTube AdSense revenue, I can assure you of that. It's less Amazon affiliate revenue, and it's more Patreon, and it's more memberships, and it's more donations. The amount of kind people that will just donate and say, here, Pete, we want to keep you doing this stuff. We are us, and we want to support independent people doing independent creative things. And I think that's where the future lies. So I like to foresee a future where the big businesses and the big tech bros are all just spinning their wheels up the top. They're having their fun and selling their cryptocurrency and burning up the planet and doing their thing. And then quietly, there's this underwhelming revolution that's going to just rise up because it's going to be individuals that are sick of the AI slop, that are sick of the big business pushing people down and enshittifying all of their products and services. And that's where we're going to see things. So in 2 years' time, who knows? There's going to be a new YouTube maybe that's created by creators, for creators that you subscribe to and that you can actually be a direct contributor to. We're already kind of seeing it. We just, at the moment, independents still have to use the big platforms, don't we? We still have to rely on the YouTubes, and we still have to rely on the Amazons and the Googles and the Metas and all these places in order to get an audience and to get in there. But hey, join the email mailing list, because guess what? Like if the platforms start being even worse, we got direct lines now. If you're a patron, you've got direct contact with me through Patreon. If you're on the email mailing list, you can email me directly. Now, do I use Gmail for some of that? Yes. So again, big platform. But yeah, I think, again, maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but I do think that whenever there's a big revolution, whenever there's just this wave of shit, then there's usually a current that goes back the other way. It's the natural order of things. So, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. As Q-Tip says, well, Daddy, don't you know that things go in cycles? They sure do. They go in cycles. Exactly. Yeah, jump on the mailing list. There's about 1,300 folks on the mailing list, but if you're not on the mailing list, studiolivetoday.com/email, and you'll get, I only email you once a week. I think the only time I emailed a second time was the song Timber YML, or the time changes to YML. But yeah, but the enshittification is real and it's everywhere. I could have named it Pete John's Quality Over Quantity Live. Well, yeah, except that sometimes it is quantity, isn't it? I try to go for quality though, but no like 8-hour live streams around here where we just, all right. In fact, it's best. A lot of people, you're on these live streams and people are like, oh, okay, I better call it a night. Oh, wait, some more people just joined, and they just keep streaming. And it's like that thing of like, get out while the getting's good, right? Yeah. Have your shining moment and then quit while you're ahead. That's what I say. Anyway. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah. Happy to do the things. All righty. Yeah. And there's going to be platforms that'll come and go. And look, there's Brilliant and Curiosity Stream and things have tried to start doing this for independent creators, and they'll give it a go. Rumble came and went. Yeah, we all dodged that. But yeah, there'll be things, and you can try things. I'm not saying don't try things, and I'm not saying don't utilize. It was a bit like when I was having the rant with Jane. We were talking about the scourge of pay in for payment services, of Afterpay and PayPal Pay in for and Step Pay and all these payment things that are actually preying on vulnerable people. But if you can use them and you can trust yourself not to be one of the vulnerable people, then go for it. Right? It's a bit like going to the casino. If you can go there and spend $50 and have a fun old time and don't care if you lose, great if you can afford to do it. But if you go there and you know that you're prone to addiction and you end up losing your rent payment, that's bad. It's the same with this sort of stuff. It preys on you, and that's the thing. If we can rise up against it, then then they won't make money, and then we have to pay even more for everything. Maybe not. All right, I got a couple of news and note stories, not much. I just thought that there were a few things that were interesting. So those clowns in Congress are at it again. What a bunch of clowns. So if you, like me, have a TP-Link router in the USA, it could be banned soon. Yeah, the US is moving to restrict TP-Link devices over data security and potential links to Chinese surveillance networks. The proposal mirrors previously actions against Huawei and ZTE, calling it national security risks. And TP-Link denies wrongdoing, but the FCC is considering adding it to the covered list. And there's a link down in the description there. So this is, again, like I've said this time and time again, the whole banning of things in the tech industry and the whole absolute fear of other countries and spies. The weird thing is we're worrying about it there in plain sight stuff, but it's already going on. If you're in the US, the United States phone network has a flaw built into it that they will never fix. And it's completely non-encrypted. So if you're on any phone in the US and it's going over any of the terrestrial services in the US, it's not encrypted. And they've known this for decades. So any third-party actor, any foreign state can actually just tap in and be observing phone calls. And it's the same with email. It's the same with web traffic. It's not your router that you're putting in. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course, yeah. We've seen this happen before where people have been selling products that actually have stuff built in that is going to hack into people's networks. I get it. But you're going to ban the likes of DJI, you're going to ban TP-Link, you're going to ban every Chinese company. You're going to be pretty short on products. I don't know. I don't think I think Netgear and like D-Link are both also owned by Chinese companies now. So you're going to struggle to get that. Thank God they didn't give China all the AI tech. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, look, will it happen? Probably not. And I don't know how. Again, how do you enforce that? How do you say to every mom and pop in the United States that has a TP-Link router sitting in the corner, you can't use that anymore? Not to mention that the vast majority of your branded ones. So in the US, you have this wonderful thing where you basically have to use your phone company or your cable company for your internet, and you just get a router. You're just given a branded router. It might say Comcast on it. Vast majority of those are TP-Link hardware. Anyway, just to make you think about that. AI slop. I'm not going to, I was going to talk about this, but I'm just not going to. But there's an interesting article there from the ABC here in Australia, which is our government funded sort of independent media outlet that I thought was really interesting. And it talks about artists weighing in on the digital convenience versus the actual power of human art, which I thought was pretty interesting there as well. And what was the other thing that we had? Yeah, the AI boom. So there's another article there again from this time from the news.com, the Rupert Murdoch media, talking about the fact that AI has reached unsustainable hype levels. Yeah, so investors are being cautioned about overvaluing tech companies riding the AI waves. Analysts warn a correction could mirror past tech bubbles. So, and in other news, I like beer. Sky looks blue. Like, come on, people. Yes, the AI bubble is going to burst, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Alrighty. Yeah, a lot of those Senate hearings, exactly. It's grandstanding. They've been yeah, and it's like the old, what's the thing that they do, that they're trying to ban, the thing where they have to talk, and as long as they just keep talking, they can't do it. There are so many things in politics that make no logical sense. A 4-year-old would look at that and go, why are you doing that? Like, why do you shut down the government because you can't pass a funding bill? Just have your basic fundamental services and human rights covered and then have everything else on top of that. Why do you need to vote on whether you actually provide food and shelter for vulnerable people? That makes zero sense. And it makes zero sense that if you don't want a bill to go through, it's like the la 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 la, just put your fingers in your ears and go la 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 because you can't hear it. Like the whole filibuster thing is like, oh, as long as you can talk. And then you have frickin' Ted Cruz sitting there reading green eggs and ham like a douchebag. Anyway, we don't talk about politics on this show until we do. Let's get to some questions and answers. We've gone, woo. If you're watching this show going, he's talking a very little about GarageBand and Apple products, so this is a very strange show, then you're right. It is. All right, if you do have questions, you can put a big Q in front of your question and I will attempt to answer. And by the way, I'm not holier than thou. Our politicians are dodgy as well. Surprise, surprise. It's not just, I know I said to pick on the US because you guys are front and center, but yes, we have a bunch of clowns in our political realm as well. Just look at the upcoming internet ban here in Australia for under 16s. Oh my God, it is not going to be pretty. Anyway, questions. CGW. I'm trying to duplicate a song section on my latest project, but it's not letting me do it. It's not letting you duplicate your song section in your project. Well, let's dive in. We are going to dive into the new GarageBand because this is GarageBand Weekly after all. So let's start with this question and then we'll explore some other things thereby related to the new GarageBand as well. So let's make sure my iPad is here and functioning. There it is. And yeah, duplicate a song section. So the good thing about GarageBand, and if you're not aware, I'll give you the basics here. GarageBand has a new logo. It looks like that. My mate Patrick over at the GarageBand Guide is, if you watched his video, he sent me his alternate thumbnail for it. And it was something like, WTF is this? But that is the new logo, the new icon for GarageBand here on your iPad. So song sections are a pretty cool feature of GarageBand on iPad. If you've not played with them, they're under the little dot here. And if let's just change this one from automatic to 8 bars. And we'll duplicate that one out. So we've got like 3 sections. So the thing with duplicating a song section is that, yeah, if you've got your sections set up like this and you want to move some around or you want to duplicate them, all you need to do is tap on the plus button and then select from one of the sections. So you've got to select the section first. So say we wanted another copy of B. We go to B, we hit duplicate. And there you go, add D. If you now want to move those around and shuffle them about, you just hit the edit button and then you grab section D and move it up. And you can move them around and then hit done. And then when you want to go back and see them all, you hit all sections and there you go. You got A, B, C, and D. If a section is not duplicating, I mean, there's a few things. Perhaps you've reached the maximum length and therefore it's not allowing you to add another section. That's one possibility. In fact, that's the only possibility I can think of. So I might need more information related directly to what's happening for you. So in terms of, and if you've got some more information, just add it here in the chat. So are you unable to hit the duplicate button? Is it grayed out? When you duplicate, does nothing happen? Does it not add a new one to the end like that? Is it popping it? If you've got so many sections and it's popping it to the very bottom and you're not realizing it's down the bottom, there's a few things that it could be. So if you've got additional info and you would like me to look into it, then please go ahead and chuck it in the chat. Made a better icon in Playground. Yeah, look, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's bizarre. Yeah, let's talk about GarageBand 2.3.18. So first of all, if you haven't already updated it, you can dive into your app store over here, jump into the app store and search out GarageBand. You do need to be on the new version, iPadOS 26.1 or 26 or later, and there it is. So you can come in here and see what's new, and as always, they don't tell you much. It's always just stability improvements and bug fixes, but there are actually some new things that are added in here, and I'll bring up my list of things and we'll quickly cover them. Again, if you're here live and you've got your own specific things you want to see or you want me to try, then I'm happy to do that as well. But we'll just go through and tell you all of the major changes that were done here in iPadOS 26's GarageBand. Now, the number one thing that I think is cool is if you've been using an iPhone with GarageBand, like I do, and you use your Bluetooth stuff, it's actually fixed a bug where you used to fire up your GarageBand, you'd connect your if your Bluetooth was connected already, it would actually just not open. And I had many people. I was actually going to make a video about it, and then they fixed it. So I'm not going to now, but I have many people coming to me and saying, "Johns, my GarageBand won't open, and I don't know why." And it's Bluetooth related. And look, it's a good reminder that when you are doing things in GarageBand or in anything in life, turning it off and on is always the first thing. So here's a quick reminder, quick refresher of what you need to do if you're having problems. Number one, close all your apps. So there could be a background app, there could be something going on in the background. So to do that, flick up from the bottom and then any of the apps that you already have open. So let's say we have Files open and we have GarageBand open. So if you flick up, then just flick them away. So flick them away, send them away, and that will sort of refresh things, freshen things up. Another good thing to do, and I can't really do it here, but if you swipe from the top right and go into either airplane mode or go into do not disturb mode. In fact, I should be in do not disturb right now. Let's do that now. For doing this show, I should always be in do not disturb. Do not disturb mode or airplane mode, because that can disable a lot of those background things. It's basically like, remember old Windows days booting in safe mode? It's kind of like that. So you can do that to try things out. You can then turn it off and on. So hold down the power button and the volume up button, swipe your thing to turn it completely off, and then turn it back on again. And the other thing that works, if like me, you're using any sort of USB-C or USB, or back in the day, Lightning adapter, unplugging everything and plugging it back in. No, it seems stupid, but it works. 98% of problems that I see people have with opening projects in GarageBand or Logic Pro or crashes or anything like that is just that you've had it open for a while or you've had things connected for a while. And what happens with technology over time is that there's things like memory leaks that kind of fill up the buffer and fill up the memory, and then it just needs to be cleaned out. It's a bit like you. It's a bit like if you've been out drinking, you've been out on the booze and you've had lots of beers and a curry, it just needs cleaning out so that it gets back to functioning. Is that the worst analogy ever? It's like oh, by the way, hit the thumbs up button. But after that analogy, people might be racing to hit the thumbs down button on that one. But you know what I mean, right? What's this song? Speaking of plugging things in, I don't have my audio plugged in. Oh, let's plug it in. There you go, because we may want to play some audio here on the show. So what else is new? That's obviously nothing. I think the biggest, I've buried the lead here, the biggest update is that we can now drag and drop into GarageBand. So let's play with this. Let's play with the dragging and the dropping. So if we're here in our ideas folder, let's just create a new song. We'll come across, we'll chuck an audio recorder track on there, and then we will open up our files. Oh, by the way, in iPad, I was going to cover this in iPadOS, but it's going to be a bit mixed together here. You've now got the ability to do slide over, So you can leave that up there. Now, the problem with this is GarageBand can't be GarageBand can't be made small enough to kind of make this make sense. But it is handy in the short term. Like if you were bringing a bunch of files in here, you can just have it like that. So if we go to my albums, let's just, we're here in the samples folder. So let's just try this sample. Turn the volume up. Play for me, baby. There you go. Nice. So we'll bring this sample into our project. Oh, see, I'm here. There we go. In this mode. I don't have all the controls I'm used to. So if you recall, what you used to have to do to bring files here into GarageBand. No, I don't like the floater. Let's exit slide over. Let's just have it floating over the top like that. If you've been using GarageBand a while, you would know all about the file transfer folder. So previously, you had to actually import your files into here. So you had to browse it from the Files app, or you had to copy it straight into here, into your GarageBand file transfer folder, and then it was stored on there. Excuse me. But with the new iPadOS 26, we can now have the ability to drag and drop. So to do that, we literally just drag and drop it onto a track like that. And it will drop our file there. All we need to now do is match the tempo. So I think this sample is at 140. 140. There it is. And now, yeah. Yes. Thank you. Hit the like button too. Exactly. That'll offset my bad analogy. Yes, if you like it, then like it. I know I have to ask all the time, but every time I say, "Hey, hit the thumbs up button," people are like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that." And then it goes do 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 do. So if you want to do that, do that. If you don't like my general vibe or politics, then feel free to not. Well, no, that's right. I've got to fix this. I've got Thumb Jam set up as the default app there, as you'll see. The other thing that we can now do is in the sampler, we can actually add this. So if you haven't used a sampler before, we'll come out here to the sampler by going to the keyboard instrument and going to sampler. And you've got your regular bark that you can use there. And you can import samples by coming in here, going import and adding them there. But you can also now just drag and drop onto here. Now, this one's a bit weird because you have to drag and drop it. Let's try something different. Let's use this one because this is one that's actually on a little cloud icon, meaning that it hasn't downloaded to this device. But let's just see what happens when we do this with one of these. So see how it pops up like that? I would have thought it would make sense to just drop it straight here, but that must have not been supported by GarageBand code. So you have to actually drop it on the sampler track, and then what it will do is it'll import it here into the sampler. And now when we play, so yeah, it'll play back that sample, but it still shows us the bark. So this is a bug this is the thing. They fix bugs and then bugs are introduced. So if we come out of that and back into that, now it's got that full. So we can actually play along there. And again, the same problem we have here is trying to adjust this. Sometimes you press down there and it won't let you do it. You see how at the start it wouldn't let me until I'd actually done it up there. So yeah, there's a few issues here with the sampler in how it actually works. And look, if you're big into samples, are you using GarageBand really? Probably not. You're probably using something that supports samples a little bit better. But yeah, again, we can do things like queuing up and our sample nicely here. Tap and hold to get a close zoom and like that. And see if you wanted to just pull out one part and play that. Let's just play something in here. Create our own little hi-hat track. The first couple was okay. So yeah. And obviously if you had better samples than, just a hi-hat that's sort of more melodic, then you can bring it in here. Whoops, we didn't want to rename that. We wanted to delete it. Deleted. All right. Cool. Why is it in this mode now still? Why does it look like that? What have I done? That's not right. More bugs. It shouldn't be grayed out like that. It should be brightened. What happened? It's like it's unselected. It's in dull mode. So there you go. There's 3 bugs that we found already. The bug where it doesn't show the sample you've just imported, the bug where you can't trim the sample, and now another weird bug where it's gone all like grayed out on us. Fun times. All right, let's close it, reopen it, and see what's going on here. Is it going to come back? Hey, the brightness is back. All right, we'll check in, first of all, with the live chat here, and then I'll dive back into some more new features as well. I think we had an update from CGW. I wanted to repeat the chorus after verse 2, and it didn't duplicate the section. Well, yeah, well, that's weird. Remember that it'll duplicate it and put it at the end. That's the thing I would check the most, because that's like what trips up most people. So say you got verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus, and you wanted to grab the first chorus and duplicate it. If you go to that one and duplicate it, it'll stick it right at the end, and then you've got to go into your edit and move it back to where you wanted to. So people think like duplicating sensibly, like common sense would say, when you duplicate something, it pops it straight next to it because you want a copy of it right there. But it doesn't. It puts it at the end. So that may be the thing that you're seeing. Full screen GarageBand while using the Files app in either slide over or a smaller window. Yeah. So if we did full screen our GarageBand, then you could actually use Files as a slide over by tapping here and using slide over. So that way it stays up there while you're doing things. And look, they took it away and then they put it back. I don't love it as much, especially now that it was fine because it was all we had before, really. It was the windowing mode, like the split view and slide over. Whereas now that we've got windowing where you can have windows that float, and especially if you're using a Magic Keyboard, you can Command Tab to just bring things back up and down. So if I wanted to come in and out with my files here, I could just do that, bring something into my track, and then just Command Tab to get rid of it and bring it away. Or if you're not using a Magic Keyboard, you can just swipe up and go to your windows that way. And you've always got everything there. So it is pretty cool. What is this sample? I don't even know what I'm using here. Yeah, so that's not going to work with this track because it's a completely different tempo. But it's good for demonstratory purposes. I love using samples. I wish Serato sample was on iOS. Yeah, there's a lot of cool sampling apps and libraries and things that you can use, and a lot of them are VST or they're on desktop. There's some cool stuff. There's Koala Sampler that a lot of folks use on iOS, and yeah, other DAWs that support sampling a lot better. FL Studio, even Logic Pro does. Is there a way to humanize note length and velocity in GarageBand iOS? Not really, Al. And this is the problem. Like, this is one of the things, if folks are saying, why would I go from GarageBand to Logic Pro? This sort of thing is it. Because GarageBand, basically, in fact, let's just we'll play in a part and I'll give you an idea. So if we played in a keyboard part, of course, it's going to give me the sampler. We don't want the sampler. Let's just add a different keyboard. We'll go to the Alchemy synth, shall we? The wonderful epic cloud formation, and we'll play in a part like that. So that's got a little of that human touch, because I've just played that in manually, right? The only thing we have in GarageBand is quantization. So you're basically either a human or you're a robot. You got to pick a side. So we can come into quantization, and if you put straight quantization on, probably the closest thing to humanizing the timing would be to use sort of a triplet or a swing timing. So that can give you more of a or a kind of vibe. So if we put like some heavy eighth note swing on this, That's not really the type of part that makes sense for quantization. But the short answer to that is no. The long answer is sort of if you use quantization, but no. In terms of humanizing, especially the notes, the length and the velocity of them, no. Timing of them, sort of with quantization, length and velocity, no. But again, there are other apps such as Logic Pro that have more humanizing function as well. Or, you know what, just play it in and then that's your humanized. Because you'll see there that, like, I've got these, if I tried to program this, these would be way more on time and they wouldn't have that nice overlapping kind of human feel to them. So that's my answer to that, is just do it manually. It works well. Yeah, let's just make this a little 4-bar loop. Yes, turn it off and on again is the way to fix most things in the world, isn't it? What else have we got here? We've got the sampler, we've got the files app, we can do that. We can drag. There was a problem before that when you were dragging audio regions around, like between tracks and on the same track, that it was causing hangs and issues. That's been fixed. Automation duplication. So if we had automation on this one, so let's just say that we put some volume automation on here by going like that and sticking that down there and bringing it up to there. So we'll ramp that up. So the problem in the past was that you wouldn't actually get that duplication, that automation duplicated if you duplicated at the track. Whereas now you can see it carries over any automation points that have been added to that, which is kind of cool. The other thing is that the undo for automation. So if we come in here and we tap and we go to automation, if you turn on or off automation, see how it now creates an undo point? It used to not. So if you turned off the automation and came out here and then you were like, oh no, I actually wanted it back on, you had to come back in here and re-put it back on. Like, not a big deal if it's 1 or 2 tracks, but if you were like doing a fade out across an entire project and you wanted to see it on or off, then yeah, it is much better that you can now just use your undo. And don't forget, tap and hold on your undo is your redo, right? Very, very scarcely documented feature of GarageBand to redo by tapping and holding. Yeah. Exactly. Yep, continue cycling off and on and then until the morale improves. It's true. It's true. It does it. And it's weird because the whole turning it off and on and turning it off and on again, if you don't do it at least a few times, if you don't power cycle a few times, then it's weird because you know that thing, it's like, oh, doing things the same way over and over again expecting a different result is a definition of insanity. Except when it's not, except when it's technology. And you turn it off and on, you try it, it doesn't work. You turn it off and on, you try it, it doesn't work. You turn it off and on, you try it, and it works perfectly. And as Jade Star will know, anyone that's used what I'm using right now, a USB HDMI converter, they are renowned for this. You can unplug and plug it in, blank screen. Unplug, plug it in, blank screen. Unplug, plug it in, and somehow the third time it's some sort of magic touch and it just pops up. So if you've ever seen me at the start of a show where you can't see my iPad screen and you're reaching behind, I'm unplugging and replugging. And sometimes you have to do the USB side and sometimes the HDMI side. And then suddenly it's like, oh, I get it. You want me to work effectively and actually display something. And I'm like, if you don't mind. Righty, automation, undo is there. The Erhu. The Erhu has been fixed. Yay! So there used to be an issue with the Erhu in the old version. And if you haven't played with the Erhu, where have you been? The Erhu is rad. It's one of the coolest instruments. Let's just change this to the major scale. No, we need the minor scale, don't we, for this track? So the problem before was if you were touching in 2 different places at once, you'd get these hung notes where it would just stick there and just keep playing the same note, and it was not fun. So now, it's hard to play because you don't get all the notes. you kind of get a, oh, it's gone back to major pentatonic. That's why I wanted minor pentatonic. Let's see if we can play an Erhu along to this. I ran out of beat. So yeah, there's your Erhu working a treat. Now, the thing that has been fixed, absolutely changing the world, is the auto centering. So if you're on an old version of GarageBand and you're moving side to side, do I have a device that still has this? Let's see. Let's see if we can on the fly find this on my little iPhone SE2, and I'll load up GarageBand and just see if I can show you this on the screen. A very small screen, but I think this is the final device I have that doesn't support the new version. So it's the last one I have. I'm just going to record something in here. Turn up the volume. Right? Okay. So is this going to show the thing? Yeah, it does. Okay. So this will help us demonstrate it. Oh, it's in green, isn't it? I need any color but green. Okay, I'll do it on this voice sample here. On me singing. So that you can see this, let's come back over to here. So this is the problem that we had before, is that when you were moving, when you grab your playhead and you're moving, okay, you really can't see it that well, but see how it's trying to auto center? No, you can't, it's not working. It's too small. There we go. So what it would do is when you'd move the playhead, see how when you try to stop it in a spot, it keeps moving? Anyway, it's fixed. It doesn't do that anymore. This is the problem. I've already updated all of my devices, so there's none. Actually, I haven't updated the iPad mini, but I don't think it's charged. No, it has no power, so we can't even show it on that one. I'll plug that in, so maybe we can show you later. Not that it really matters. It's a bug, and if you're struggling with that auto centering bug, it's now fixed indeed. Thank you for the sequence tutorial. You're welcome. Yeah, no, there's lots of videos on here. I think there's more than 3,000 GarageBand videos, so many of you would have found something around the place. Hello Sylvie Drapeau as well. Hello KK. The new Apple TV. Yeah, is there a new Apple TV? I don't know. On the 12th. That's tomorrow. I don't follow the TV as much as I probably should. TV and home. Let's find out. So there's no specifics over here on the web page of. There's the Apple TV 4K, which is the current one, but that's the same one that's been out for a while, unless there's a leak that they're releasing a new one that may be coming out. But yeah, not sure. If anyone knows, if anyone has any more details about that, do let us know. But I hadn't seen anything. Oh, now I've got Apple TV playing over there. We'll turn that off for a moment. Hello, Michael Dalby, by the way. Hope you are doing well. So that's your main changes for GarageBand. If you want to, if you're a completionist and you want to know each and every change that was made, I've got a video for you with all 23 changes. For iOS is just playing it already. So that's this one over here. So if you haven't already watched that one, I'll throw that in the chat for you right now. So you can go and check out that one. So that is the link to my everything video, the deep dive, because I did a quick video on it and then folks were like, why don't you show everything? And I said, okay. And I quite like doing that because I'm a bit of a nerd and a bit of a completionist with things like that. So you've got all of the different changes there. Let's quickly move on and talk about iPadOS 26.1. So Mark says, I've updated everything to 26.1. Everything works well so far besides a few third-party plugins on the Mac. and those I barely use. Yeah, so and remember this, when you're updating, I don't mention this enough, but there's a lot of things that that will want you to update across everything. So for instance, now when I plug my phone into my Mac, every time I plug it in, it says, you need to update your Mac, bro, because you don't have the latest version of Mac OS, and I'm the latest version of iOS, and I want the latest version of Mac OS. Otherwise, I can't do all the cool features that I want to do. So you don't have to update everything at once, but it will ask you to do that. And especially for things like third-party apps, you might find, especially if you do it using universal apps that work on the Mac as well as the iPhone and the iPad, that they will work on one and not on the other. Or you'll update one device and it won't work there, but it will work on the other one. So it is the best idea once you take the plunge to kind of do it everywhere. The reason that I don't do it on my Mac is that I rely on things like webcam settings and Ecamm Live and a few other things to just simply do my job, and there's not enough advantages for me on the new Mac OS. So I'm waiting another probably month or so, around about Christmas time, when it's a bit quieter. I'll be updating my main daily driver Mac, the one that I'm using right now, my Mac Studio. But my MacBook Pro has already been updated and everything seems to work fine. So I'm kind of using that as a little testing ground. And look, I know I'm very lucky. I have devices out the wazoo. If you've only got one device, you do need to be a little bit more conservative, especially if it's the sort of thing you use that could be your livelihood. Yeah. All right. Once again, before we dive in, thank you everyone for all of your likes and your comments on this video and other videos. If you're here and you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, then feel free to hit the thumbs up button. It really does help me, and you will feel warm and fuzzy all the way down in your cockles. And everyone wants a warm and fuzzy feeling in their cockles. Yeah. That one doesn't translate well, does it? It's sort of based around the Dennis Leary thing. It's like, yeah, feeling good in the cockles of your heart, maybe in the subcockle area, maybe in the liver, maybe in the kidney, maybe even in the colon. We don't know. So what exactly is new with 26.1? Not a whole heap. There's a couple of things that I actually really like that were updated in 26.1, mainly the fact that liquid glass, you can now kind of just tame it a little bit. So you can still go into your accessibility settings and turn it off. I don't hate it, but I kind of disliked how intense it was. So if we come in here and we search tint, nope, it's not going to work. Maybe we have to go liquid glass, here we go. So there's now the clear mode and the tinted mode. So the tinted mode, as you can see there, just gives a little bit more of a dark shadow background instead of it being quite so see-through. So let's show you the difference here real quick. And by the way, yeah, go into your settings and search liquid glass, and you can actually check this out as well. So like things like this, it just looks too liquidy. Like it's kind of, I don't know, I didn't like it. It looks, I don't know, I can't explain it except that I don't like it. And I must admit that now that we have the option to go to tinted, where's my settings? There they are. It is better. So you can see that immediately things just become clearer and easier to read. And yeah, especially across other things, like when you go into your settings app and you've got things on top of things, it's just higher contrast, right? So it's easier to just do that. And you can even go the bold text, which I think I used to do. I'll put the bold text back on. And text size, yeah, let's embiggen it. Because, yeah, about there. Sorry, I'm just adjusting a few things here. So, yeah, you've got some options in there for the tintingness of that. I do like that I've been able to turn off the swipe for camera settings. So if you go in here to the camera app settings here, you got this option down here, lock screen swipe to open camera. Now, if you've got your iPhone, you probably think that's a good thing. So when you bring up your phone, you can actually just instantly get the camera by swiping to the right. So if you weren't aware of this, when you've got your phone open, without even unlocking it, if you just swipe it to the right, it's immediately into your camera without sort of having to unlock it and go through all that sort of stuff. So that's great. On the iPad, I did not want that because I'm never wanting like to swipe right. And what I do is sometimes I'll be out here swiping on things and I open my iPad and go straight into the camera. And I'm like, I don't know about you, but I don't remember the last time I used the camera on my iPad. Maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe everyone's running around. I know that it's the meme is that it's everyone's like mum and grandma that runs around with their iPad minis, like taking photos with their iPad at family functions. But yeah, not for me. Not my bag. So that's another thing. You can see, look, I'm clutching at straws. Why? Because there's really not much here. They've improved FaceTime audio. Photos, video editing's actually been improved, which is pretty good. So the ability to do some more very precise photo editing. So that's cool when you're like me and you're recording things on here and you want to like trim off the front, then you can come in here and get a little bit more precision with this. So if you hold it and let it go and hold it down, it'll zoom in and allow you to get some precise control over exactly where you're doing your trims. And if you want to do a quick edit on some videos, then that is a good thing as well. And the local capture. So I don't use this because I do everything. I have to try this out, but I do everything on Mac. So I've always got the ability to capture everything either using GarageBand or Logic Pro for my audio, using Ecamm Live that I'm using right now for video, or even just using QuickTime. If I want to capture the screen, QuickTime is actually really good. Do folks know this? If you ever want to record your screen on a Mac, fire up the QuickTime player. It feels weird. It seems bizarre that this is something that will work. But if you do, if you fire up QuickTime, actually I'll put it over here. If you fire up QuickTime and you go to the top menu up here, under File, you can go New Screen Recording. And you can't really see this, but when I move, there's a little camera icon that's popped. Yeah, you can see it there. So when I put it on this screen, it's highlighting this screen. And when I put it on this screen, it's highlighting this screen. And all I need to do is tap on this one and it's actually recording that screen now. So see how you just got, it doesn't look like it's working and there's no real way of it showing that it's working except this little tiny stop button up here. But what this is doing is it's recording the audio and the video of this screen for me right now. And when you hit stop, it creates a video file, like just a .mov standard Apple video file that you can now use. So if we just pop that down, so here you go. That's just me and that screen now. So see how you just got it. It doesn't look like it's working, and there's no real way of it showing that it's working except this little tiny stop button up here. Isn't that cool? Like, I had no idea about this. And yeah, as Thomas was saying, you can actually edit the video too. So you can actually trim, you can split, you can do everything. So if we go to trim, you can, again, use a similar sort of tool that you have in here. And the same thing, if you hold it down, you can get really precise controls over exactly where you're trimming it. So it's kind of handy. So we've always had this, and I just dismiss QuickTime because I'm a PC guy, and QuickTime Player on the PC was literally just to play .mov files. Like back in the day, the only reason you'd ever use QuickTime is to play a movie file from Apple. But I was kind of blown away by this because I was spending hours, and Thomas will know the challenge of this, spending hours on Ecamm Live trying to work out how do I get a clean image of my camera here, but also a clean image of the whole screen. When I record it on Ecamm, it gives me myself and the screen. Well, turns out all I needed to do was fire up QuickTime and get that to record the screen at the same time as I'm streaming, and I can always have a pristine 1080p screen to go along with my face recording, which is very cool indeed. Just make sure you save the result as a separate file. It doesn't automatically save on Mac like on iOS. Yeah, so it doesn't by out of the box, but for some reason, I set up something that automatically puts it it automatically saves a file on my desktop. So I think I found a setting in there at one point that does that. But yeah, by default, once you've done it, trim it and then save as. That's always a better way to go anyway. And then put it in a location that you want it to be. But yeah, it's not as smart as iOS where it just puts it straight in your photos. But for me, I think I changed a setting where it just throws it on my desktop. Anyway, who knew? Who knew that QuickTime would do such good things? Weren't here to talk about Mac today, but yeah, it's little extra tips there for free. Now, where is my rest of my notes here? Security updates is the other reason to update. So yeah, make sure that you're updated. If you're on 26.0.1, just update to 26.1. If you've already made the plunge from 18 to 26, there's no reason not to go from 26 to 26.1. I was going to say in my opinion, but no, just generally, just 100%. So that's all we're really going to cover in this one. And I know it was a weird show because I started off with a bit of a rant, but I really just wanted to thank folks because I couldn't do this. Like, I couldn't be an independent creator without you, without the folks that support me through Patreon, through the memberships here, through donation, through super chats, through all the things, all the ways. And I do honestly think that it's the rise up, isn't it? It's the Bandcamp revolution. It's the independent artists using distributors like DistroKid to independently release our music to the world, to use our own iPads and iPhones and Macs in our own home studios to create music. We're working around the industry. So in music, we can already kind of work around the industry. You don't need a big label. You don't need a big studio. You can do it all yourself. Now, I think that the future, we're still reliant upon the big brands and the big tech companies to do things. And if you talk to some people, they think that AI is the next big thing. And they think that AI will remove the humans and pull humans out of the loop. But like I was saying before, I think every movement has a counter movement, a bit like in music. You can't just be going, line don't go up forever and things don't get better and better forever. And there's enough discourse about how detrimental AI is that there will be a groundswell of people that say, I don't think it's okay that you're pouring billions and trillions of dollars into server farms and into producing sloppy AI videos when we can't, and again, not to get political, but we can't actually afford to feed and clothe and shelter the vast majority of people on the earth. Like, it's going to hit that point. There's going to be a peak point where we just go, nah, enough, turn it off, just flick it off. And you might say you're a giant hypocrite, Johns, because you sit in a studio here and you've got all your gear and you use all these services. Yeah, I do. And I feel bad about it pretty much on the daily. And the more I can find ways to do things more efficiently, both energy efficiently and time efficiently, and still help people, the better it is. So I just wanted to say, I say all that to say thank you, because I think independent creators and independent media is the wave of the future. Final question. Can we use the voice isolation with local capture in FaceTime and phone calls? Voice isolation with local capture. That's a great question, and I don't know. I haven't actually tried local capture yet. I was sort of half getting to that. I'm not sure if you can use voice isolation with local capture. I would imagine so, because you can use the local capture with FaceTime calls, and you can use, like, voice isolation is available just generally on your iPhone and iPad now as an audio setting. So I would imagine the answer is yes, but I haven't tested it. So I am not 100% sure. Hey, if you're watching this one live, once again, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button before we finish up here. We do have Frank Terzo and the Community Pulse coming up in a little while, in just over an hour's time. So you can line up and get ready for the Community Pulse. That'll be a happening thing. Shortly, I'll be doing some testing. I meant to get to it yesterday, but I'll be doing some testing with my new microphone today. So if you're a member, you might see a little stream pop up in a short while for me to test that one out. But for now, whoa, throw that one away. But for now, yeah, if you want to go over and check out, there is the link to the Community Pulse with Frank Terzo. Check out the videos linked down in the description. We've got, like I say, thousands, literally thousands of videos all about GarageBand and about creating in GarageBand and about releasing your music using GarageBand, as well as Logic Pro for iPad, as well as some other things I've dabbled in over the years. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming up towards the end of the year. I know after Songtember, it's like, everyone kind of takes a breath for a month or so, but we've got a big couple of months leading into the end of the year with lots more music creation, lots more tutorials, and of course our live shows right here on the channel. Until next time, folks, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, keep creating, and I'll see you next time here on GarageBand Weekly. Bye for now.